Today we're going to be tying the mini minnow. We'll begin by wrapping olive thread back just a little ways behind the eye of the hook, and then bring your thread back forward. It doesn't take a whole lot. The body's going to be made out of a fish fiber or some kind of a poly yarn, light gray, minnow looking. We'll cut a section of it off, and then I'm just going to uneven the tips by just pulling slightly. We're going to want to flip the hook upside down, and we're going to kind of brush the material around the point of the hook, divide the material in half, and then secure it to the bottom of the shank first. And then you flip that lie over, and then you'll pull those fibers over the top and then capture, so you get an even distribution of material above and below the shank of the hook. And if you're a little uneven, you can always trim it back just a little bit. So that's going to form the main body. And then I like craft fur for the top, and we'll grab just a little bit of that. We'll set that over the top of the poly yarn, and then we'll secure that. And trim off excess, and then we'll make sure we get everything wrapped down really, really firmly. All right, and then just a quick whip finish. All right, we're going to set a couple of eyeballs on here. And I like to use Zap-A-Gap gel. And I'll use my bob, and I'll just grab a bunch of that. And I like that gel. It's a little thicker. It's going to hold to the eye a little, the thread just a little bit better. And I really don't care if I coat the whole thing, but I just want to make sure I've got good coverage on both sides as we position those eyeballs. And then you'll just match your size according to the size of the fly you want to tie. These little guys are kind of hard to hold on to. Just kind of grab it in between your index finger and thumb. We'll set one eye back there on one side, and then flip it around and set one on the other side. You have to just be careful not to glue your fingers. A few times I've glued eyeballs to my fingertips. And then we're just going to let that set for just a quick moment. And so if you're going to do a bunch of these, get to this point, set them down on a drying pad for a little bit, and then you can go back and do this next part. All right, the Zap-A-Gap or the super glue has dried, so now we're going to fill in the gap between the eyes with a little bit of UV resin. I've got both thick and thin, and then a UV light. So we'll start at the top here, and then we'll push a little bit of UV glue down in between the eyes. Flip it around and push a little bit down underneath as well. A little bit more there. This is the thick stuff. And then a UV light. Don't look at the light. Let that cure. It doesn't take too long. And then I like to go over everything with a light UV resin, eyeballs and everything. Fill in the other gaps. Brush it around. A little bit of a gap there. I'm going to put some in there. And then hit that with the UV light again. You can add flash to this if you wish. Don't over flash it. Maybe a couple of strands of crystal flash to the sides or flash-a-boo even underneath. But try to keep everything else pretty see-through. And that's your mini minnow.